Hey YouTube, so long time no see, but I am going to have a few videos out for you guys in the next few days. We've got quite a few different projects on the go at the moment, been up to all sorts of different things, so keep an eye out for those. But I've mostly been spending my time on Minds.com, which is an up and coming social network which is really hot on things like freedom of speech and privacy and those kind of things. So you can speak your mind without having to worry about people being oversensitive little bitches. And it's really refreshing, really like it. And there's also a really fast growing HEMA community there. I think 210 members so far, and there's a pretty active fitness community there as well, so please check out minds.com. I'm pretty easy to find, so go over there and check it out. Sign up, yeah, it takes about 2 minutes, so see what the site has to offer, and if you like what you see, sign up. This isn't sponsored, by the way. I genuinely do really like the site. That's why I've been spending all my time there. But today what I want to talk about is my various training weapons, what I use for HEMA and HEMA training. So I'll show you the collection I have. So first up, the first ones I ever got were these Rawlings synthetic sparring swords. So they're about 2/3 weight, fairly nicely balanced, but they're not brilliant simulators. They do tend to bounce a little bit, so they're not the most realistic training tools, but they're nice and cheap, and as a first training weapon they are really good. If you're on a budget, I think they're pretty hard to beat. So yeah, this is one of the original ones. I got this one, I've got a crossguard for it as well, but I lost the original pommel, which is one of these, so I've stuck my longsword pommel on the end instead. Yeah, it looks a bit silly, but you can still do everything you can do with a one-handed sword, and then you've also got the grip here, so you can do all the longsword stances and cuts and all of that stuff as well. Certainly gets quite an advantage in sparring, and there is a slight historical precedent for this, so I'm going to defend it slightly. Matt Easton has talked about this. There's certain Indian tulwars which have stalk pommels, which he does believe were used as an extended grip, so you could grip them one-handed. Now, I wouldn't be using them in a tournament, it would feel a bit cheaty, but I do think there is at least some historical precedent for them. Moving on then, onto the steel sparring swords. So, oh no, that's the sharp. You don't want to be sparring with that. That would end up leading to quite a bad day for somebody. So these are the ones we've got for sparring. We've got a roll tip on the end, and they're also somewhat flexible as well to make them a bit safer for thrusting. Now these are slightly heavier than sharp swords. This is slightly heavier again because it's about an inch or so longer. So these are quite heavy, but you do get used to them after a while. I've also got this one which I ended up modding a little bit, as you can see with the hilt here. So I've got red felt on the outside and I've got leather on the inside. That is going to offer some protection for the hands, but it's more decorative than protective, this. It's not buff leather inside, so a strong thrust could certainly still break your fingers if you were unlucky enough for a tip to go through there. So far I have been quite lucky, however. Moving on, so here's the sharp. I think it's very important to at least have one sharp so you can actually practice cutting with them. Otherwise you're not going to know how effective your techniques are, you're not going to know how good your edge alignment is. You could be winning fights all the time sparring, but you might find that when you actually use a sharp you're hitting with the flat or at a slight angle, and obviously that wouldn't be too good in a historical context. Okay, on to training weapons I've made myself. So this was just a stick originally, obviously, and I was using this for practicing staff techniques and practicing switching grips and practicing blocks and stuff, all of that kind of stuff. Which I still use it for that, still use it for practicing quarterstaff manoeuvres and that kind of thing, but I've decided to leave the tip on, which I put on for Halloween, costume, because that way I can also see the edge alignment, so I can practice long sword cuts as well and see how straight the edge actually is while I'm using it. Moving on, so another couple of things I made myself. This might look quite ridiculous, but what this is it's a training sword, so I can practice all of my techniques and movements and stuff inside without smashing the place up, but it has the same weight and balance as a real sword. So the bottle in this case is filled with sugar. If you wanted it a bit heavier, you could fill it with water and use some sort of sealant instead of just super glue and tape holding it together. And the pommel on the end, I noticed the balance was a bit too far out and I wanted to make it a little bit heavier. So what I've got in here are 2p coins. So I've got 70 grams of weight as a counterbalance there, and that makes the balance really good. So a brilliant little training device this. I find my fencing has improved a lot since I've been using this. And finally, homemade Indian club type thing. This is for strengthening the wrist. So it's only £7.5, but with the balance all the way out here, this is about 15 to 20 times the weight, the force on the wrist that a normal sword would have. So yeah, definitely very hard to use at the moment. I'm not quite strong enough to use it quite how I'd like to yet, but the strength is building up, and it's just basically an Indian club type thing. So mainly wood and then water bottles filled with water, and I've carved the handle a bit and put a very simple leather strap on it. Since using this thing, these swords here just really do feel like absolutely nothing in the hand, and endurance while fighting, even when I've been trained for a very long time, just isn't an issue anymore. So those are my training tools. Thanks for watching. Keep your eyes out for the next few videos I've got coming out talking about various projects, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.